Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to go into the Holy Bible and we're going to flip over to Genesis, the very first book in the Bible. Now let's go down here to chapter 1, verse 6. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so."
When confronted with the demonstrable evidence for our level Earth plane, one of the most common and frequently asked questions is, why would anyone lie about the shape of the Earth?
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going. But I think I know. Because we didn't.
I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does, I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
I know.
Well, what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curve-top radio and listened.
Talking about, how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said, contact light, engine stop.
It was
and a few
exciting.
other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah.
Inspires so many people to enter the sciences. How do you balance science with science fiction? They're both the same. The mystery of science fiction is what I'm talking about. Science and science fiction are essentially the same.
Why are you sitting in your chair today? Does gravity pull you to the floor? No. There is no such thing as gravitational pull. We lied to you.
First of all, we are born scientists. When we're born, we wonder what's out there. We begin to wonder about the sun, life, the stars, what makes the oceans, the weather. We're born scientists. And then something happens. When we hit the danger years of junior high school and high school, that's when it's literally crushed out of us.
Those are the worst.
Every little flower of curiosity, said Einstein, is crushed by society itself. Because we have to learn all these facts, figures, memorization, we think that memorization is science. And that's not true at all.
When confronted with the demonstrable evidence for our level Earth plane, one of the most common and frequently asked questions is, why would anyone lie about the shape of the Earth?
How close are we talking when we say this asteroid is coming into Earth's orbit? Do we have to be worried about this?
No, not at this point, luckily, because if something this size were to hit the Earth, it would be an apocalypse of a biblical kind. Back
with one of our favorites, Scarlett Johansson. She has wowed us with action movies, made us cry with heart-wrenching dramas. It's a good intro, right? And her newest movie is a twist on the rom-com. It's called Fly Me to the Moon, and Scarlett plays an advertising executive tasked with selling Americans on the idea of the Apollo 11 moon mission. And tell me how this idea came about.
Well, the idea came about, so I have a production company here in New York called These Pictures, and one of our associates, our head of film, Keenan, just was toying around with this idea of well, what if this conspiracy theory was true? What could you build a genre movie around?
This conspiracy theory is that the moon landing was fake.
Yes, that's the one.
So,
public support for the moon mission is rock bottom. NASA needs a marketing specialist, and you are the very best.
I work here now to sell the moon.
NASA's not something that you sell with a jingle and a slogan.
When I'm done, those men are going to be bigger than the Beatles. You told me that your guys don't do interviews, so I had to hire new guys.
I'm here for the casting. Who's he?
You're at Juicy Parks.
I flew 52 missions in Korea. I flew 52 missions in Korea. How's that?
The whole world will be watching. We need to shoot the backup version of the moon landing.
You mean to fake it? no one can ever know what we're doing.
You mean to fake it?
The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, for those of you who are biblically illiterate, let me take you to Wikipedia and see what the definition of firmament is. Okay, in biblical cosmology, the firmament is the structure above the atmosphere of Earth, conceived as a vast, solid dome. According to the Genesis creation narrative, God created the firmament to separate the waters above the earth from the waters below the earth. And now that you understand what that means, let's look into the Bible and see what picture that it shows of the firmament and the earth and the heavens. Now, would you look at that there? The waters above the firmament of heaven, the sun, the moon, and the stars underneath the firmament of heaven, the earth, and the ice pillars on the outside. Okay, now, let's take a look at the original Hebrew Bible and see what picture it shows. Imagine that. The same thing. The firmament, the sun, the moon, and the stars under the firmament, the earth, and the ice wall. Now, those two pictures should look familiar to you. Check it out. Now, you understand where this picture comes from. Now, last but not least, let's look at all the pictures of all the ancients and see what they depicted the shape of the earth to be. I'm not going to read them out loud. You guys sit there and take a look at them. Look at each one of them. They all have a flat disc with a firmament over the top of them and the sun and the moon inside that firmament. So as you can see, once again, this is not something new. All of the ancient civilizations knew where we lived, and they depicted it in their artwork right there for you to see. And I specifically want to point out the three oldest cultures there is: the Mayans, the Egyptians, and the Incas. Take a good look at their depiction of the earth. The Mayans have a dome with water rushing over that dome, and the sun and the moon and the stars underneath that dome. The Egyptians, as you see, the blue woman represents Mother Earth. The blue represents the oceans above, the dome with the stars fixed in them. And the same with the Incas. You can see a dome over the flat disk Earth with the sun and moon and stars underneath that dome, and they even depict the Sheol, hell, underneath the flat disk of Earth. There is only one picture that doesn't line up with all the other depictions of the earth since the beginning of time, and it looks like this right here. Now, like I said, since the beginning of time, all ancient civilizations depicted the same shape, the same picture of what the earth looked like, except for one agency called NASA, and this is where they tell you you live. And there's not one of you watching this video that has ever seen this right here with your own eyes. Ain't none of you ever seen this right here with your own eyes. The only time you ever seen this right here was on the television or in the book that the teacher handed to you. And your teacher that handed you that book, she ain't never seen this with her own eyes either. She taught it to you from the book that was handed down to her. And you walking around here thinking you intelligent and know where you live at. But you ain't never seen it with your own eyes, but you believe it.
The sloping sea level, the spin of the earth. Unless you can see these phenomena with your own eyes, they may not be true. Unlike what we've been told in school, the earth looks like a snow globe, round but not sphere. The North Pole is at the center of most flat earth maps, with the ice of Antarctica holding everything in.
Well, new this morning, all our lives we've been taught that there's little doubt that the earth is round, of course. We've seen the images from space, but not everyone's really convinced.
There's a whole group of people who are not convinced. Some common themes are the earth is not a sphere, as you said. It's not moving. We are not spinning on an axis or revolving around anything. And biblical literalists believing the earth and everything we see when we look up in the sky exists in sort of a dome. And everything we see when we look up in the sky exists in sort of a dome. And everything we see when we look up in the sky exists in sort of a dome.